Have you ever made a mistake and immediately turned it into a full-blown disaster? I know I have. And for many years, in my 20s, all the way through my 40s, I did this a lot. One small mistake, one small misdeed, a perceived failure, whether it was in my church, whether it was in relationships, at work, or even in school, when I went back to school as an adult learner, I would take that one mistake or that scenario, or maybe in public. I've had my share of things that I said and did in public that I'm not exactly proud of. But here's the thing, I would rehearse those scenarios over and over and over again. And the more I rehearsed them, the harder I became on myself. I was so hard on myself. And as a result of being hard on myself, I started attaching my mistakes and my misdeeds or my shortcomings to my worth. And it has taken years and a lot of internal work, a lot of self work to get to the place where I am finally free. And so, if you have found yourself in a situation like this and a mindset like that, where you are repeating your mistakes and your failures, or maybe you're just not where you want to be and you just keep rehearsing that and you're hard on yourself, you are in the right place. My name is Stephanie Strong, and I work with women 40 over who are looking to make a shift from corporate burnout to owning their own consulting business. And the topic that I'm going to talk about today is that one small shift that can change, that changes everything. One small shift that changes everything. And so let's dive in. Make sure that you click like and subscribe, because I'm going to be here every single week so that I can deliver the type of value and content that's going to help you get to your next level, to help you break free of the chains and the things that are binding you and keeping you from soaring to your greatest potential, and the things that you want to achieve in your life. And this is particularly for women who have achieved a lot in their lives. Maybe you have, maybe you have not. It doesn't matter. But if you're ready to start living your life, making more money, having greater impact, and being more happy and enjoying your life, you are definitely in the right place. So let's dive in, and be sure to like and subscribe to my video, because this is where we're going to come together as a community so that we can learn, grow, expand, and so that we can manifest and become our absolute best, so that we can live a life of freedom that we absolutely deserve. Are you with me? All right. If you're with me, you know what you have to do. All right. So let's dive into. There's three things that I want to share with you today that you can actually take action on today. Then I'm going to share with you the one small shift that can change everything. Number three things. So get something to write this down or capture this in your notes. You have to name it. You have to normalize it, and then you have to neutralize it. Name it, normalize it, and neutralize. And here's what I mean. You've got to name it. So that means there's got to be some awareness around the fact that you are catastrophizing. Sorry, I'm getting my words twisted. Catastrophizing a mistake or a scenario. You're blowing it out of proportion. Okay. Now, this is not to undermine your real emotions, your real feelings. I'm not trying to do that. But what I am saying is that the thoughts that are you creating, you're ruminating over those thoughts. I did it. I know what I'm talking about because I did that. You're rehearsing your mistakes or your shortcomings or your failures over and over again. And when that happens, you start being hard on yourself. When you start being hard on yourself, you attach it to your worth. When you attach it to your worth, it makes you stuck. It makes you feel stuck, like you can't go any further or any farther. And I'm here to tell you that those are lies. But let me get to the name it. So you got to name it. So here's your clarion call to be aware. All right, because I had to get aware too. I didn't just wake up one day and say, like, voila, and all of a sudden I'm aware. It takes somebody saying, hey, this is what you're doing. And so you've got to decide if this is what you want to continue doing. So name it. So in the middle of you just, okay, maybe you didn't hit the nail on the head. Maybe you didn't reach your target. Maybe you didn't get the job that you want. Whatever it may be, you have to, when you start finding yourself spiraling in those thoughts, you've got to stop and say, I am catastrophizing. Okay? You got to call it. You got to call a thing a thing. You got to name it. When you name it, then guess what? You disempower it. That's what you want to do. You want to disempower those thoughts. Okay, disempower it. All right, number two, you got to normalize it. Everybody does it. I mean, everybody does it at some point in their lives. To some to more a greater degree than others, but we all have done it. So by normalizing, you say, okay, I'm not the only one, but here's what I'm going to do. I am not going to give these thoughts any more power. I'm not going to give these thoughts any more power. I'm going to decide today exactly how I want to leverage my thoughts and leverage my emotions to create what I want. Because here's the thing, when you start normalizing, or I don't mean, when I say, let me just clarify, because normalizing does not mean that you're going to acquiesce to it all the time. Normalizing simply means that it's a real thing that is actually normal, but you don't have to give credence to it. You don't have to become subjected to that type of thinking, where you're just spiraling and ruminating and going in circles around the same mistake, the same shortcomings, the same self deprecating thoughts. So normalize it, but you want to be able to say that I don't have to. I choose not to allow these thoughts to take me down into a dark hole. Okay, then neutralize it. The one way that you can neutralize it is by creating a new pattern of thinking. Okay, so one, you name it, you normalize it, now you got to neutralize it. So neutralizing it actually means that I am going to do the very thing that not only disempowers it, but also helps me to break free from it. So you got to neutralize those thoughts. And the way that you do it is by using affirmations, using telling the truth, right? You've got to stop in your tracks and you've got to tell the truth. You've got to say to yourself, I hear what's going on. I'm aware of what is being said. I don't believe it. It's a lie. And here is the truth. And the truth is what? Dot, dot, dot. I can't tell your truth. That's not my place. But there's some things about you that's unique and different and special and great about you. And that's the narrative that you get to create for yourself. That's the narrative you get to create for yourself. All right. So you name it, you normalize it, and you neutralize it. All right. So those are the three action steps that you can take today. And when you find yourself in that mind space where it's starting to be chaotic and then your emotions are pulling on it, you know what your emotions do? They co-sign on whatever you're thinking about. Okay. It's true. It's true. Now, I don't want to give you everything at one time, but it's true. So the more you think about the things that are, becoming a catastrophe, and then you attach emotions to it, oh man, it is a full blown, the world is coming to an end situation. But the world is not coming to an end, and neither is your potential, neither is your purpose, and neither are the promises of God for your life. All right. So make sure that you're doing that. So the one small shift that changed it for me is learning how to practice neutralizing and normalizing and naming those things. But here's the thing. You've got to decide for yourself. Here's this one small shift. Deciding for yourself what you are going to think about, what you are going to empower, and what you are going to leverage. So that's the small shift. It's the decision, the choice. And you have the power to make the choice and decide, am I going to give these thoughts power? That small shift is the decision that you are not going to no longer give credence to mistakes and mishaps or missteps or any kind of underachievement or failures or perceived failures, that you're not giving them any energy. So you can make that choice today. You can make that choice right now if you're in that space by saying, I am not the sum total of my mistakes. I am not the sum total of my disappointments and my failures. I am not the sum total of the things that I do that I'm not proud of. You have to affirm yourself by choosing to speak about yourself in favorable terms. And there, you cannot tell me that there are at least, at the very minimum, 10 things that you can name about yourself. And that's me just going at the lowest hanging fruit. I know there's 10 things that you can say about yourself that are positive and true. Because we're not making believe here. We're actually telling the truth. So when you catastrophize a mistake, right? That's not the truth. Those are not truths. So you get to tell the truth. You have the choice to tell the truth about yourself. So, what is the truth you want to tell about yourself? And so I know this takes time. I know it takes practice. And but yeah, I guarantee you, the more you practice naming, normalizing, and neutralizing, the more you do that, every single time you find yourself being drifted away or pulled away into some ozone layer that is going to crush you, then you stop and say, I'm catastrophizing and I am not going to do that. I know everybody does that, but this is not what I'm going to do. Here's how I'm going to use my words. Here's how I'm going to leverage my thinking and my thoughts and my actions. And then neutralizing is I'm going to give it a new narrative. I'm giving this whole scenario a new narrative. I have had to do it. It is working for me. It has worked for me. And I believe in my heart that it will work for you. And so make sure that you tune in next week. I'm going to be back next week with more tips on how we can break free, how you can break free and break through so that you can come through like shine like a diamond, and so that you can make more money, have greater impact, and be more happy and live the life that you absolutely deserve. And if you're with me, then I'm looking forward to you clicking that subscribe button, and make sure you like that video, and feel free to leave a comment because I would love to hear from you. My name is Stephanie, and I'll see you on next time.